So, as most of you guys know, I've been running a pretty successful e-commerce store for the last year. And if you don't know that, you should probably go watch my other videos before watching this one. And recently, I have become absolutely obsessed with AI and the improvements with AI. So, I had the thought in my head, is it actually possible to have AI replace all of the people that are helping me with my business? My entire team. And the reason I thought about this is because when I think about it, every single person I've hired from Upwork, it's the same process. They get a PDF document with all the things that they're going to be doing. They get an overall idea of the business and the operations. And I basically teach them what they're going to be doing. Why couldn't I just do that with AI? I wouldn't have to spend as much money on actually hiring someone. The AI could actually work 24/7, which in my mind would improve the business. And overall, it just seems like a better scenario. Having an AI team that works around the clock and doesn't need to be paid hourly versus hiring freelance contractors that really don't care about your business and aren't always available. So that's what I've been doing. So this right here, what you're looking at is basically the operations of my business. Everything that goes into the back end of my e-commerce store. Now this is without revealing too much of the private information, so it doesn't reveal my product, but this is basically everything that goes into it. And we're just going to go into it real quick. These are the things that I worked on automating, okay? And we'll go into each one. So at the top here, this is how much I am either paying now or was paying a freelancer to actually handle these things every single month, okay? So paid marketing is one thing that I still haven't been able to fully automate yet, just because it's difficult and there is nothing out there for it, okay? And I was focusing more on support first, which I'll get into in a second. But basically, in order to automate marketing, the first thing is 2 to 3 creatives each week. Now, this is one thing that I don't think is going to be possible to automate, just because the entire creative process in terms of, coming up with new creatives, filming creatives and videos, and all that stuff is, you can't really automate that with AI. You have to do it, and you have to have some sort of person with a creative mind, like myself, that can actually piece things together and do all that. But here's what I'll tell you. I did find a software called icon.me, so let me just pull that up. And I have been using this software a little bit, and it's been helping me quite a bit. Now, it's not perfect. Like, the whole idea of this software just going and creating the ad for you without you having to do anything isn't going to happen. It just sucks at that, okay? But here's what it's good at. It connects to your Google Drive so that you can upload all of your B-roll clips to Google Drive and easily piece things together instead of using CapCut. It's got its own video editor and everything. You basically just go on there and click which scenes that you want to use from your drive, and it just replaces that clip for you. 2, it does a really good job at coming up with scripts and ad ideas, okay? I can't log into the account right now because each account is assigned to your specific business. So if I log in right now and try to show you, it's going to show you my product and my audience and stuff like that. But to just give you an idea, it creates customer profiles for you. For example, say you're selling this skincare product right here, serum. It would create a customer profile for you automatically saying, women aged between 20 to 30 that have eye bags and wrinkles and have been looking and searching for products that take care of it, or have purchased some in the past. They create customer profiles like that with AI automatically, and that's awesome because what you can do is basically click on the whole customer profile you want to create an ad for. You click on it, it will generate scripts specifically for that customer profile. You can edit the script around, ask it to change things. It's basically like ChatGPT where you talk to it and stuff, and you know, it works awesome. And it can generate a rough draft of a video for you where then you just go in and you change out different clips and scenes. It's connected to your Google Drive, like I said. So overall, it makes the whole workflow of creating an ad a lot easier. Now, there are some glitches that I've run into and stuff like that, but overall, like, I can make probably 5 times the amount of creatives on here if I just sat and worked in it. Like before, I would have to use CapCut. I'd have to scroll through my files, find the videos that I want, drag them in, trim out the areas that I don't want. Then, since I create 3 different variations of visual hooks in the beginning, I'd have to find those visual hooks, cut those and piece them together and put them in. Like, it'd probably take me like a good 2 to 3 hours to do one concept. On here, the ads come out a lot better, and I could probably get a concept done in maybe 30 minutes to an hour. Most likely 30 minutes. So this is what I've been using right now. But enough about that, it does help a lot, and you guys can try it. I mean, it sucks that you have to pay for it, but you just pay for it, and if it doesn't work, like, you just send them a message, and apparently they refund you. But it does work, and works a lot better than any of the other apps that I've tried. Now, that's for streamlining creatives, and that's been helping quite a bit. And honestly, since it's around AI, I could probably easily train like just a cheap virtual assistant to, learn how to use the software and create ads for me that has some idea of creative in making videos and just streamlining the process for them. That could be an option. But right now I've been using it myself. I'm paying someone, agency, $750 a month, plus a percentage when they reach certain benchmarks for ads. And it just hasn't been going well. So, I mean, it's not that it's not going well. It's just the problem with these agencies and when you hire freelancers is it seems great in the beginning. Like they're talking to you, they're very communicative and all that. But the moment you hire them, they just like disappear and don't talk to you for weeks. And just like I'm sitting here like, are you guys gonna launch ads? Like, what are you doing? What is your thought process on the ads? And all they do is just every once in a while they send me a new ad idea that they want to test, and it's not great. Okay, so that's why I'm trying to find ways to automate this. Now, the things that this would need to know how to do is analyzing campaigns, knowing when to raise budgets, knowing when to decrease budgets, basics of creating and launching campaigns, new offers, new angles, can reply to comments and messages on Facebook. That would be huge because I spend time on, removing spam comments, replying to comments on posts and stuff like that. Because I'm not an ordinary dropshipper where they just hide all the comments and disable comments. I think that's stupid. Comments help engagement quite a bit. Like, if you have an ad and someone scrolls down and sees a bunch of people saying, "Oh, I bought this product, and it's amazing," your conversion rate's going to go up. So I don't hide that stuff. But, of course, you have to filter through them and keep an eye on them. Now, in my mind, I feel like it would be really easy for an AI bot sort of thing to do this, because all it needs to do is understand your business, understand your data points, and it can read data points, right? It can read cost per click, and all you do is set benchmarks like $1 cost per click sucks. If it's under $1, that's really good. If it's over $1.50, that's really bad. All you do is tell it those things, and that's the same thing that a paid marketing agency would do, right? Or is supposed to do. So I feel like a bot would be able to handle this now. I haven't been able to automate these things yet. I'm still using the marketing agency, but I'm in the process of building something. Email and SMS. This is the biggest scam I've ever witnessed in my life, okay? So, email, SMS. This is basically setting up the emails, SMS, so that, when someone signs up, they get emails, they get updates, they get, upsells and all that stuff. The email agency that I was working with was charging me $3,000 per month, okay? $3,000 per month. But here's the kicker. 90% of all the sales that came in with that agency were automated flows that they set up one time. And it wasn't a lot of revenue. Like it's only been like maybe 10% or less of revenue. But it was automated flows. And what they were doing was just busy work of sending out 2 to 3 campaigns every single week that were not doing anything. So basically, I was paying this dude $3,000 a month to create a flow one time and just do busy work that was not doing anything. And he just kept doing it and making money off of it. And I didn't realize this until I actually went into Klaviyo and saw. He started January, and I fired him in April. So, take a look. So we got 93,000 in revenue. 10,000 was attributed to emails. And take a look at this. 77% of that has been through flows. 77%. Flows are things that you set up one time. He set this up once when he first started the first month and never touched them again. All of the rest of the months that I've been paying him, he's just been sending out campaign broadcasts twice a week. And this has attributed to $2,000 in revenue, which is not profitable at all. So I fired him. And now all of the email sequences are relying on flows, which is pretty much all automated at this point. But yeah, if you get anything from that, do not hire an email marketer long term to post campaigns for you, unless you're getting thousands of signups every single month, and you have a lot of people going through your emails and your signups and your website. There's no point in paying someone $3,000 a month to send out campaigns, because here's proof right here. Campaigns don't work. Flows are the ones that work, and flows are automated. So at that point, I'm able to waive this out now. So that's $3,000 per month extra just by using flows as the primary emails, okay? So, which is crazy. Next up, we have sales calls. Now, I'm not automating sales calls because, think about it for a second. When you call your Verizon company or your bank account and you hear an AI answering tone start talking to you, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to go rip your hair out and throw your phone in the nearest lake, because it's so annoying to talk to AI on the phone. Yes, it's getting a little bit better, but it is nothing like having that one-on-one communication with an actual person. So I'm keeping the sales calls as it is. I'm paying someone around $1,000 a month to do the calls. It's probably a little less, like $800, and then he gets paid 10% of all the sales that he converts. Now, I might optimize this a little bit more just so I'm paying him less hourly and more commission. I don't know, I'll figure that out. But, I mean, this is all done through Go High Level, and the return is insane. So as you can see right here, the last 31 days, he has generated $14,500 for the business and a 6% conversion rate for calls. So whenever someone abandons checkout or something like that and gets put into our call system, he converts 6% of them, which is absolutely insane. So there's no reason to automate this, and I think if I were to put an AI answering tone in there, it would just ruin this sort of side of the business altogether. So I'm not really going to do that. Plus, my demographic is all older. They're all over 40, mostly men over 40, and they're very old school. They want to talk to a human. So if they heard some sort of AI answer the phone, it's not going to convert. So skipping over that one. Next one is basic support. Now this is where things get fun. This is where the exciting stuff happens, okay? Basic support, everyone knows what that is. It's basically email. If you have a chat bot or a chat widget on your website, someone messages you through email, whatever it may be. Maybe they're answering questions about the product. Maybe they are answering or have complaints about an order they got, or they wanted an exchange or a return, refund, whatever it may be. That's what this basic support is, right? I have been working with a developer for the past... Here, before I get into that, what I first did was I wanted to streamline the process, because an issue we were having was the rep that I was using, the customer support agent, she was not really responding to emails very well, and it kind of caused more issues. So the first thing I did was I went onto ChatGPT and I trained a GPT to understand our business and be an assistant for our support rep, so that all of she had to do was paste in her the message that came in, and it will tell her how to respond. It basically, here, I'll show you, okay? You can talk to this GPT thing as if you're training an actual human to understand your support. So just like how you would train someone off of Upwork to do your support, you do the same thing. So all I did, I'll show you exactly what I did. And what I did was I found a long customer support training course. This was the actual exact one right here. This customer support training course that's used to create good customer service reps. I went down here, clicked more, okay, and you look for transcript right here, okay? Copied the entire transcript. Boom, all the way to the bottom. Go into ChatGPT and say something like, you are going to be an assistant customer support rep that helps my customer support team answer emails and complaints, okay? And then basically you just need to add this into the database. So here is a transcript of how to perform good customer service. So you start with this. You want a framework where it understands how to perform good customer service, right? So great, now let's give this customer assistant a name. You can just give it the brand name. So let's just say my brand name is I don't know, Beauty Makers Support. Okay, let's say I'm selling a beauty product, right? Okay, let's pretend this is what it is. Now I want to go through this quick because I got more to talk about, but you can basically configure this now that it knows how to provide good customer support. All you do then is load in your PDFs, tell it about your product, tell it about the most frequently asked questions and how to answer them, the frameworks and the steps on how to perform support, all that stuff, okay? Very easy, just like you were to, like, let's pretend for a second I am applying for a customer support role for your e-commerce store. How would you teach me to perform support for your product in your business? That's all you're doing for ChatGPT. Now, this is what I did at first, and it improved the process, and it was able to allow the customer support rep to put the messages in and get a response spit out, so that all they had to do was copy the response and send it in an email or whatever. Then I went one step further. I asked a developer if there's a way to turn this bot into its own bot that integrates into the platforms that I have and acts as a full-on support assistant, and instead of just having an actual human copy and paste the message into email or whatever, it just copies and pastes the message it generates itself, right? And boy, is that crazy. So let me show you here. We even connected it to WhatsApp, the WhatsApp team, right? And I gave it a name, and it literally, here's how it works. It will let me know when someone wants to perform an exchange, what the order number is, what the issue is. It will let me know when they responded to it. Just like if you had a actual human on your team and your human updates you, that's what this support does. So like the entire message sequence is right there. I don't know if it's flipped. It looks flipped on my end. But basically, it sent me a message, update on replacement for order 1968. Opportunity on replacement was created March 5th. Boom. And I told it I'll check in the morning. It says, okay, thanks. So I'm not going to tell you what an opportunity is. That's stuff with Go High Level in our system. But it's trained on our system, and it sends me messages whenever it does something. It automatically responds to emails and requests. And if it has no idea how to respond to it, it sends me a message on WhatsApp and says, hey, this customer asked about this. How should I respond? And I basically tell it how to respond. And it's been great. It's honestly insane how far AI has come. But yeah, so it's connected straight to WhatsApp. It's not public use, okay? It's mine. I built it. But maybe one day, if you guys want that bot, you know, we can talk about it. But it works great. So that's basic support handled, and $400 gone. I don't have to spend $400 a month on that anymore. And it's actually way cheap with ChatGPT. Like, it's based on credits. Like, you could maybe put, you know, $50 worth of credits in there, and it'll be good for a month. So, yeah. Next up is post-purchase support. So this one's a little bit trickier because there's some things in here that won't be able to be automated. So for example, this right here wouldn't be able to be automated. And let me just explain what this is. So since our product is custom, when someone orders, we need to basically have one-on-one personalized support where we talk to them and get information from them to make sure the product that we make for them is correct. So for the most part, the communication side, the basic support bot could handle. Now, it doesn't do that right yet. Like, I haven't really automated this side yet. This is the next step. It could handle the basic communications back and forth and stuff like that. I did set up an automation here to gather the requirements. I just did that in Go High Level with a workflow where basically, here, let me just open it up. As you can see, I have a bunch of automations in here that are basically built for the business to automate things. So whenever there's like a task that becomes tedious that I can find a way to automate with a workflow, I've done that. But right here, so this is the custom pipeline whenever someone orders a custom. As you can see here, it triggers whenever someone enters this pipeline. So basically whenever they make an order, it updates them. It sends them a message, which basically automatically sends them a message asking them for what we need. And then once they reply, it moves them over to the next stage. Just think of it like a CRM. Moves them over, and then that's when our actual human representative starts working on it, right? Because the thing with this and trying to automate this is the representative needs to analyze the photos to determine if the photos that they send us are what we need and to our requirements so that we can actually make the product. If it's not to our needs, then we have to communicate with them more and try to, you know, get a better photo. If it's to our needs, then that's when it communicates with the factory and continues the production process. And the problem is AI being able to analyze the photos and know if it's good or not, because there's some specific specifications that may not work. So this is going to be a lot harder for me to fully automate. But what it can do is it can communicate with the customer, so answer questions like this. It can push data from Shopify to Go High Level. So the issue with Go High Level is it's not natively integrated with Shopify, so it doesn't work very well with Shopify. So basically, like if you think like Klaviyo is integrated with Shopify. So whenever someone signs up on a form or, you know, abandons checkout and stuff like that, it automatically syncs to Klaviyo and does that process. But with Go High Level, it's not that great. Like every single day, we have to manually export and import the leads, and I've been trying to find ways to do that automatically, but I haven't been able to find ways because we have to actually edit the sheet and the information in it to make sure it's all configured correctly. But yeah, everything is manual right now in terms of syncing things between Shopify and Go High Level because it just doesn't work very well. But AI can definitely communicate with supplier. It can communicate with the customer. I can maybe sometime find ways to push customers like our Google Sheet. So I'll show you. And basically what you do is you just set up scenarios. So as you can see here, I have this scenario right here where it adds all the orders that come through on Shopify for customs. It adds it to a sheet that our factory has access to and adds all the relevant information in there. Make.com is great for automating like tedious tasks, although sometimes it can be hard to like figure out what sort of steps you need to take to automate things. But it works really well, and I'm still trying to figure out ways to automate the rest. But overall, that is the entire business. So basic support is handled with that bot that I talked about, which is excellent. Sales calls, I'm just going to keep that as is because I don't want to, have people talk to robots and answering systems. Email, SMS, totally automated now. And paid marketing, I want to do the same thing that I did with the basic support and create a bot for marketing that understands all this stuff. So that's what I'm figuring out right now. But yeah, so that's what has been happening. This is future Jesse now because I did forget a couple things. There's a couple things that I'm also automating, which is basically profit and loss and expenses and stuff. So what I'm doing right now is just using this application called True Profit. This is today so far. Today's pretty low. Our margins are pretty high today though, so that's good. But things have slowed down a little bit. And I'll do an update video on like in terms of like sales and the business itself. But if we look at let's go to March. I use True Profit to manage my profit and loss. Basically, it automates everything pretty much for me. The only thing that I need to automate is importing costs. So if you look on the costs right here, custom costs. So every week what I've been doing is manually putting in how much I've paid freelancers throughout the week. I basically go on Upwork, grab my invoices, and import the costs. I'm going to see if I can find a way to automate that. I might be able to automate that with make.com and try to find a way to connect. The only issue though is some platforms don't have API integrations to use automation, so True Profit may not allow it. So that's one bottleneck I'm running into with automations is some apps on Shopify and stuff just don't have it native on there to use things like make.com. But that's how I'm doing my profit and loss right now, and it works really well. The next thing I need to automate is paying supplier to ship stuff. So we have a Google Sheet, and I mean, I don't know if I'll automate this. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But we have this Google Sheet where basically the supplier gives me quotes and a payment link to pay them through a direct deposit. If I can find a way to set up, this would probably have to be something I have to develop myself because you can't do this with make.com or anything, I don't think. But if there was a way to send, like schedule out a payment based on a payment link. But yeah, I just didn't want to skip over these things. It's been doing really well. Our customer complaints and stuff have decreased quite a lot with the new customer support bot. To give you an idea, like every day I was getting maybe 2 to 3 complaints, and the reason is because, and these are really bad complaints, like people that are like claiming that they're about to dispute the transaction, and they're cussing and yelling and all that stuff. And the reason is because the customer support rep that I had, the way she answered things just made it feel like she wasn't actually acknowledging the problems that people were having. So by switching to this bot and using this bot, one, people get responses within, 5 to 10 minutes, right? Versus, waiting 24 hours because, humans can only work for so long, which is great because when people have a complaint or they're scared about something or whatever, waiting stresses them out more, and that waiting period increases your chances of a chargeback. So my chargebacks have gone down quite a bit. I've actually haven't had any serious complaints or chargebacks for the last few weeks, which is great. And the next thing is the bot is able to analyze the entire conversation thread, acknowledge all the issues that the customer has been facing, and handle it perfectly. Okay, so, and even recommend in WhatsApp, when it messages me, recommend ways that we can kind of solve the problem better for the customer, right? So that's been working great. Overall, since I started automating things have been a lot more hands-off, which is great because in the last video, you guys have probably remember me talking about how I talked about how the idea of launching another store with it, because if I can launch another store that's making this amount of money, I'm going to be doing great. Like, I'm going to be set. But the problem was I needed to automate things first so that I could be a little bit more hands-off on this one and more hands-on on another one. So that's what I did. Now, I still have to probably work maybe an hour on this one every day, just checking in on all the automations, making sure they're working, making sure that there's no emails that are left unanswered, checking in with the sales caller and all that stuff. But overall, the automations have been insane, and have improved things quite a bit. So that's where I've been at. That's what I've been up to. Yeah, AI is pretty crazy, you guys. And I'm going to be making another video soon because this new store that I'm making, I want to try to make it all with AI and see how that goes. Generating all the photos with AI, having AI, write all of the copy on the landing pages, come up with the brand name, all that stuff. And I already have a product idea for that. That's also a high-ticket product. So I want to see how it does by having AI build it. It's not going to build the whole thing. Like, I'm actually going to build the landing page and stuff. But AI is going to be, pushing me through everything, basically. So, yeah, stay tuned for that video. And I'll see you guys in the next one.